Right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Hey, everybody. Welcome into the Mile High Hockey Podcast. I'm Mike Evans, and that handsome guy right next to me is Matt Smith, who we've shared so many great times together talking hockey. Of
Mm.
course, when the Avalanche won the Cup, we were together lockstep all the way, and got a chance to watch the home opener last night as we're talking right now. Could have asked for a better night, huh? 4-0 win. One of those nights where you come away feeling really good because it was really a team win. Everybody was involved.
Yeah, everyone got involved. And again, it's not like Chicago's a bunch of world beaters, but it's a good note to start out on, certainly on your home ice. And if you'll remember, one area of their game that kind of tailed off last year was just how dominant they were at home, right? In that cup winning year, they were really good at home. They reeled off that streak in January. Was it like 18 straight wins at home or something like that? So, yeah, it was good to see them get started off on the right foot on home ice.
So much to talk about. Let's start with the guy and the performance and the play that really kind of kickstarted them in this win. First part of the first period, they were kind of a little sluggish, but then on the penalty kill, Logan
Mm.
O'Connor, great play by Andrew Cogliano and Josh Manson along the board, springs O'Connor. He goes in, real sniper goal. This wasn't just some grinder plumber out there doing his work. That
Mm.
was a goal scorer's goal. And he makes a little bit of history. First time since Gabe Landeskog in 2013 to score shorthanded goals in back-to-back games. The Avs are 17 for 17 to start the season, killing penalties and two shorties. How about the performance of Logan O'Connor and Andrew Cogliano? Jared Bednar went out of his way to commend those two after the game.
Yeah, and they've been rock solid, right? Ever since Cogliano came over at the deadline during that cup run, right? And O'Connor, since he came up as an undrafted college free agent from DU. I mean, Logan signed for like 5 years when he got that deal. I think maybe it was even a little bit more than that for almost nothing. And he has proved to be just a critical role player for this team. As you mentioned, another shorthanded goal, as he did the previous game, right, in Seattle. And for the Avs, penalty kill was a problem last year at times, but if they can get their special teams to contribute early in the year, that maybe allows a little bit more time for guys like Miles Wood and Ross Colton and Tomas Tatar and Ryan Johansson, all these new pieces to get up to speed because I wouldn't say that they've been amazing. I think they've had some good moments, but this team has stars to make up for that, right? So if your special teams can step up and your stars can carry the load, give those guys a little bit of time to get acclimated, then I definitely think it sets them up to have some success, right?
How,
So,
how much of a luxury is a fourth line like that? And how rare is it in today's NHL? How many teams do you think you can and look at and say they have a fourth line that the coach feels supremely confident that he can roll out and not feel like he has to worry about it?
I think it's really important, especially if you're trying to contend for something. If you're a team that's kind of just trying to figure out their way, figure out their identity, then I mean, maybe it's not the biggest of importances, but when you're a team that's trying to contend for a Stanley Cup, we saw what it was like when the Avs went on their run. O'Connor, Cogliano, and Helmer. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
those three guys, there were several different games in the playoffs where they were their best line, not just like, oh, they had a good night. No, they were the best line on the ice for the Avs. So that's like found gold when you have that. That's how you fill out a complete team. And that was kind of part of the biggest priority for the front office, it appears, in the offseason is rebuilding their forward depth, lines 3 and 4. They bought a whole new third line, and then being able to drop O'Connor and Cogliano, you know what it does? It makes them play their role, right? They're not trying to play out of position. And last year, with so many injuries, many guys had to be asked to do more than maybe they were, I don't know if capable of is the right word, but really just expected to, right? So I think it's extremely important. And when you have that, I mean, it gives you a leg up on everybody else.
What are your first impressions of this new look third line that had some changes last night? Tomas
Yeah.
Tatar got bumped up to the first line. Jonathan Drouin was dropped down to the third line. Jared Bednar during the course of the broadcast said, "Hey, I'm kind of looking for a different feel, a different look on that first line with Mikko and Nathan McKinnon." What did you think of the switch up and overall where are we at with that third line?
Uh the third line in general, I think is pretty solid. Miles Wood, I love. He does
Yeah.
everything the right way. They got him with a big deal too. He'll be here for a long time. I mean, physical player, gets to the greasy areas, always finishing plays. He's always in the right position. And when you play hockey, there's so much of that chemistry that's you don't even see him, but you know where the guy's supposed to be. So Jonathan Drouin's, the goal that ended up getting wiped
Yeah.
off the board last night because Drouin was offsides. Wood was right there because he's always hustling to get into position. Now, Drouin coming down to the third line, I thought was more because of he just wasn't performing all that well. And the Avs took a risk there, right? It was a low risk, high reward if somehow you get him and McKinnon to rekindle their Halifax Moosehead days. And he's been okay. I think he's probably been the most disappointing of the additions so far. I mean, last night with the nice play to set up Wood for that goal, but he definitely looked better down on that third line. And there was a rumor, at the end of the first period, Mike, Emily Kaplan came on talking about a potential free agent that's still out there that, gosh, it's been 3 long years, Mike, of me pounding the table for Patrick Kane to the Avalanche. And now they don't even have to trade for him. So, Patty, it's time, buddy. It's time.
Yeah, let's talk about that. We had Emily Kaplan's report. She gave us an update on where Kane is at, that he's really begun ramping things up, and that he believes by the beginning of November, he'll be in a position to choose a team to sign with. And it was funny because they were talking about some of the teams, and they were rattling off this team, the Rangers, and maybe Dallas, and maybe Detroit. And I kept waiting, and then she threw in possibility of Colorado. And then
Right.
they went back to the studio, and Ryan Callahan on the broadcast said, Colorado is the place. This is where he should go. This would be a unbelievable fit. So when I heard,
you want to know what
I went,
you want to know you want to know my reaction was? Exactly.
Yes.
You got it.
Listen to that.
Yes. I've been saying that for 3 years. Finally. So it was. Look, Kevin Weeks, actually, who's another one of their analysts, got on TV. I think it was last week, and he said, "Look, I know that there's a lot about Kane back home to Buffalo, but Tampa and Colorado are the best spots." And I had closed the chapter on this. Like at the beginning of the year, they signed Tatar, they signed Ross Colton, and I guess I didn't even answer. I thought Tatar was good on the first line, to go back to the previous question. Ross Colton, I think he's starting to build. I mean, I really like what he's brought to the table. Anyway. Who cares?
Let's get to the object of your
exactly. But when Weeks brought that up, I was like, man, I'd already closed that chapter. Like I closed that book. I opened it, back in December of 2021, and I was like, this needs to happen. Joe, make a call. And then he made a call at the deadline, but Kane wasn't ready to leave, so he stuck around. Fool. Anyway, think about how much better his life would be right now. He'd have another Stanley Cup if he just had listened to Matt Smith. That's a good lesson for everybody out there. Just listen to Matt Smith. Your life could be better. Anyway, Mike, I don't know if the opportunity is there. Okay, if the opportunity is there and Sakic offers him money, I don't know how he doesn't jump at that. And if he doesn't jump at that, then I've got serious concerns about. You want to go play for Florida? You want to go play for Buffalo? You go play for Detroit? Fine. You want to win a cup? You come to Colorado. That's kind of where I'm at. And I think back to Claude Giroux, right? A couple deadlines ago, his wife didn't want to be on the West Coast, and she wanted to be on the East Coast. It's like, fine. How'd that work out for you, pal? I don't know, Mike. I can see it as clear as day. He would fit perfectly. If you think about this, Tomas Tatar did a nice job last night, little pocket pass to McKinnon, but you could even move Tatar down to the fourth line, right? And you could bump Drouin to the third line, and you could put Patrick Kane on the first line. Yeah. So I look, if that opportunity is out there and he doesn't jump at it, then I mean, one too many cab rides maybe for him in Chicago, Mike.
Well, that would be. Honestly, it's kind of a win-win as far as I look at it, because if he does choose the Avalanche, it shows, okay, this guy is exactly in the right headspace,
right,
where he should be at this stage of his career. And if he were to choose somebody else, like a team like Buffalo, hey,
you're dead to me. It's okay.
Yeah, because you're telling me all I need to know, that going out and winning another Stanley Cup isn't what drives you. And if that's the case, I don't want you. So in many respects, it's kind of a win-win. Want to talk?
But hold on. If that happens, I will be insufferable, right? Like, when that happens, you're not going to want to talk to me because I told you, finally, right? I'll be wearing the Kane jersey. I'll be stitching it up that night myself.
Trust me, if Patrick Kane chooses the Avalanche,
I get all the credit.
I will allow you to take whatever victory lap you want.
Please.
Okay? I'll put up with however insufferable you are if it means they get Patrick Kane.
It might be Will Ferrell in Old School, just, we're going streaking. You know what I mean? You and I down Orchard Boulevard right there out the studio. Hopefully you'll join me.
Let's wrap it up with the performance so far of Alexander Georgiev. He's been amazing. 4-0. Goals against under 1 now. I think it's at like 0.89. Save percentage at 965, which is otherworldly. When you watch him play right now, what stands out to you as a goaltender that seems to be even making the jump from where he was last year, where he wins 40 games?
Poise and just completely calm under pressure. I mean, how many times did you and I have the conversation about Darcy when there's traffic in the crease, the guy, it's like he might as well be blind, Mike, right? But Georgiev, he just
he was
in there
for a while, but
well, that's a very good point, Mike. But Georgiev just hangs in there, right? Like, he doesn't get rattled. He's always in good position. And if he gets beat, it's typically not because he just whiffed with the mitt like Darcy used to. He gets beat typically because there's a screen in front. That's how we saw San Jose get on the board when the Avs played out there in California. I've been thoroughly impressed. And we're starting to see that maybe the Avs finally found their guy. Like, how long have we been talking about this? Forever, Mike. We've been talking about it forever. Even with Kemper, when they moved the first round draft pick, even though Darcy held up, we couldn't wait to get him out of town, right? Like, that's not our guy. But Georgiev, that might be our guy, right? I mean, you traded, what was it, a third for him? They got him for peanuts, and they had to give him the new deal, 3 years, $3 million per. But he is leader in the very way too early, probably shouldn't even be talking about a clubhouse for the Vezina, right? I mean, he's been fantastic. So if you can get rock solid goaltending and you have the pieces that they have up front, you just are missing just maybe a little bit of firepower to put you over the top. And again, that's where Kaner comes in. I think, and I don't want to get ahead of myself, because the truth is, Mike, I'm holding this team to a different standard. It's going to take 30, 40 games for me to really come out and go, oh yeah, they're going back to the cup again. Right. But no, they got to prove a lot of stuff to me. More than anything, I just want to see them be consistent and healthy over a long period of time, because as we know, hockey can change in the blink of an eye. And right now, it seems that this team is pretty healthy. So knock on wood, it stays that way. But yeah, if you can get that type of performance from Alexander Georgiev, I mean, we're talking about a special player so far. Really special. How about the save last night in the first period against Chicago? Coming down, he sticks out the left leg, right, and he makes the left pad save. And the Avs haven't played great, but he's covered up for a lot of their deficiencies. And when you have a goaltender that can do that with the type of talent in front of him, you got a stew cooking, Mike.
Early impressions of Connor Bedard. Does he look like surefire, can't miss to you, or does he look like a 18-year-old kid who's a little in over his head right now?
Can I say both? Like, because I think it's a little bit of both.
Sure.
I think he will be that guy one day, but he's also just 18. Like last night, it was okay. Now you're swimming with the Sharks.
Yeah.
This is Nathan McKinnon and Mikko. McKinnon, I thought it was interesting. He was asked about Bedard pregame, and he's like, yeah, okay. All right. Well, I'm glad he's here. Good for him. But then last night, you could tell he was swatting the puck away from. It was like child's play. It was like a cat playing with their toy. It was like, come on, kid. You're 18, and that team is so far away from being any sort of decent, Mike, in Chicago. So I do like Connor Bedard, but as we know, it takes a village in the NHL, and they're going to need much more than him. But give him a couple years. I mean, he is 18 and he's undersized too, right? So.
He does. I mean, I'm watching him last night. I'm like, wow, he looks like a boy out there. He really does.
Looks like Sam Girard.
Yeah. Yeah. First time ever in his career, any level, went through a game without a shot on goal. So the Avalanche made a little Connor Bedard history. Last thought, and this is just a hockey-related question. I'm a fan of instant replay. I like the idea of instant replay. I'd rather take the time, make sure you get the call right. In the end, I'd rather it be the right call. But you were referencing that beautiful goal that got taken away because of the offside, the feed from Drouin to Miles Wood. Yeah, by the absolute letter of the law, he was offside. But these offside calls, does it just feel like it's too picky? It's too ticky tack that we're just looking for this little crevice and little slice of ice to show up between the blue line and the ice to wave off a goal. How do you feel about that?
I'm fine with them.
Are you?
I'd rather them get it right. Yeah, I would. I mean, okay, it takes off a goal off the board, but you have to think about it. Like, I'd rather the game be consistent, and in the playoffs, somebody would end up getting screwed over by that.
Yeah.
And even though we've been on the wrong side of that, right? I think back to Landeskog's offsides call against the Sharks back in, what was that, 2019, right? But I don't know, Mike. I would hate to see it taken away. I want the game to be officiated the right way. And if it's the letter of the law, right? And if they change it, that's fine. But if you were to change it and remove that, do you just remove offsides altogether? Like, I don't know. But I'm asking. Like, what
Yeah.
would you rather see? You know,
Yeah.
I don't know what the better alternative is. So for me, I'm good with it the way it is. And if it's taken off the board, go get another one.
Boy, that was a beautiful goal, though. That was a beautiful goal.
Yeah, it was. It was.
You don't normally see goals like that, you know, in today's NHL, and that was a beauty. And the fact that it was Drouin on that third line with Wood, and the two hadn't started the game together, and yet they connected that way. It was a beauty.
Stay on the right side of the line, Jonathan. That's all I got to say. You want that to count? Stay on the right side of the line.
Stay on the. There you go, Matt Smith. Man, he is zero tolerance. It's black
zero tolerance.
Black or white.
You're either in or you're out, Patrick.
Thank you so much, as always. Going to be doing this a lot throughout the course of the year. What a start, 4-0, and we roll on. And what a start to the season.
Yeah, and Val Nichushkin's still on the team. I mean, he wasn't disappeared before any games. He was there in Seattle. He played.
Snark.
So,
yeah, Snark.
really good.
I love Snark, by the way. I love Snark, but that's
what I'm here for.
That's next level Snark. So, Matt, thank you very much.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, that'll do it for this edition of the Mile High Hockey Podcast. Let us know what you think. You can check out and respond to me during the course of the show with Schlereth. Hit me up on the text line, or you can also check us out on X at Mike Evans 1043. Love to get your feedback. Thanks to Matt Smith. Thanks to Matt, our engineer. And we'll see you again next time on the Mile High Hockey Podcast.